Hello, Joe from Mont Marte here again. Today we are going to be doing a charcoal drawing of my friend's boots. So let's get into it. Okay, now the really cool thing about drawing and sketching is you don't need a lot of equipment. One thing you will need is a sketchbook, and I'm using the A2 sketchbook. Also, it might be handy to have a sketchboard, and these are really cool. You can take them wherever you go. Now for your charcoal drawing, obviously you're going to need charcoal. And my favourite type of charcoal to use is the woodless charcoal pencils. These come in soft, medium and hard and can be sharpened with a standard pencil sharpener. I'll also be using the compressed charcoal sticks. They again come in a hard, medium and a soft, and these are great for blocking in large backgrounds. The Artist Eraser Pack is another wonderful thing that you will find lots of use for. And the kneadable eraser also. This is kind of different from a normal eraser where it takes out the charcoal. It lifts it out, if you like. So let's get into it. Now the first thing we have to do is draw our outline of the boots onto our sketchbook. And we need to compose that to work out how it best looks. We have provided a downloadable PDF of the photo for you to do that, but I'm just going to draw mine from life. Remember, getting your sizing right is of the utmost importance in this outline stage of a project like this. I'm using my charcoal pencil to help me with measurement. Take your time and make sure you are happy with each line. Be mindful of how the outlines relate as a whole. I've got my outline done now. Next job is to put the background in, and I'm using the compressed charcoal for this because it can lay down a nice broad line. It's best to lay a fair bit of charcoal on so you can blend it in. I'm using my finger here. This gives a lovely soft effect, and I find you have a lot of control. It's also easy on the paper surface. Now I'm using a tissue. This spreads out the charcoal evenly, but allows me to get rid of any excess powder. Be careful not to damage the paper surface. With the excess charcoal powder on the tissue, I'm transferring this onto the tabletop. And this is a good technique to use as it lays the most subtle of tones. There, that looks good. Okay, so that's our background done. Now we can move on to the boots. And this is basically just building up tone, so we'll be doing this with our charcoal pencils. So basically we just have to build up tone, and this isn't very different from using a pencil. I'm using small circular motions to build up the tone in this case. The back of the boot will be in shadow, so I'll make it darker there. I'm suggesting the folds in the leather here. Bear in mind the highlight on the top of each fold, or the apex point. I'm using horizontal strokes for this. Remember, the toe and the heel are compound curves, so our shading must suggest this. I'm leaving an area free of dark shadow along the side of the boot to help convey this. I've left the buckle free of shadow to imply gleaming metal. Okie dokie, on to the next boot. Drawing can be so relaxing. I've put the detail of the zipper in. I've used the herringbone type pattern to suggest it. The busy nature of it helps the drawing too. Again, I'm using my finger to create soft blending. Once you get to this stage, it is really just a case of refining everything and darkening here and there. My drawing is essentially finished. I'm just removing charcoal with an eraser to create highlights and clean up any smudges. Well, there you have it, my interpretation of my friend's boots in Mont Marte charcoal. I really hope you're inspired enough to try something like this. You've picked up a few tricks, now get into it.